In this video, I'm going to give you some tips of why your art is not improving, and I'm going to give you one big tip of how you can improve it in a very short period of time. Let's jump in. So I was hanging out at the barbershop with my son, and I was waiting for him to finish his haircut. And one of the biggest epiphanies I've had in my entire drawing career, and this has been for a long time, is that drawing in public is one of the best exercises to help you gain confidence in your line work. Now, as an instructor, I normally say it's contour drawing that is the most powerful exercise to help you gain confidence in your line work. And I still stand by this. I also say that drawing in public is a powerful, not the most, but a powerful exercise to help you gain confidence in your line work. Let me break it down. A lot of teachers will tell you to go out and draw from life, and drawing from life and drawing from observation is excellent. But if you're drawing from observation and you're not doing it the proper way, it still can take you a long time and many, many years to get better and see improvement in your drawing. One of the quickest ways to gain confidence in your line work, I always say, is contour drawing and blind contour drawing. And I have a specific method in which I teach contour drawing and blind contour drawing. It's not just the simple way that you learn in school. There's a couple things extra that I teach my students. In the description, you will find a link where you can click on it. You will be able to give your email and jump right into my online course. It is free for a very short period of time. Take advantage of it while you can. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. You'll be sending me emails showing me your new drawings and, oh my God, it's really going well. Okay, so back to the topic. So drawing in public. The reason why drawing in public is so powerful is because you have distractions. Now, when I started drawing and my mentor taught me some of these basic techniques of contour and blind contour drawing, I started doing them on public transit. And on public transit, you have a lot of people standing over you. They want to know how long you've been drawing. Oh, that's cool. I have a cousin who draws and all this and that. And that's great to have conversations with people, but it's also very distracting. And so if you're going to continue drawing around people, you have to learn how to draw around those distractions. Now, I liken those distractions to putting extra weight on the barbell when you're lifting weights. Or if you're doing some exercise, let's say you're doing sprints. Instead of doing a 30-second sprint, you do a 45-second sprint, right? That's going to make it harder. That's going to put resistance on your muscles. It's going to make your muscles grow. Well, the same thing with drawing in public. Whenever you go on location and you're drawing on location, what happens is you're going to notice there's a lot of different things that are going to distract you and make you not want to do it. The first and foremost is people coming over, looking at your artwork and asking you questions. Another one is if you're outside, maybe the wind is blowing the pages of your sketchbook. Maybe, there's a really loud car is playing their music really loud right next to you. Maybe there is, maybe the chair that you're sitting is uncomfortable, right? Or maybe you drank too much coffee and you just feel fidgety. There's always going to be some set of distractions while you're drawing in public. And one of the biggest distraction, and I think this is the distraction that helps people get better even faster, which is if you're drawing people who are at a cafe or on a bus or on a train, you never know when those people are going to leave. So you have to kind of make up for the fact that you don't know how much time you have. So you have to learn how to analyze shapes, the shape of a head, the shape of an eye, the shape of a nose, the shape of lips, the shape of the eyebrows. You have to analyze those shapes in a very quick manner. And you almost have to take a mental picture with your eyes. Use your eyes. Your eyes are like a camera lens, right? So you take a picture with your eyes. That picture normally lasts in your head. Here is a pro tip. That picture normally lasts in your head about 3 to 4 seconds. After 3 to 4 seconds, that picture starts to fade away and then you begin to draw from imagination. Now, this is why a lot of people's work is not getting better, is because a lot of people are either drawing from photographs or they're drawing from imagination. And even if they're drawing, you might say, well, my stuff isn't getting better and I've been drawing in public. Well, it's probably because you're not doing the proper exercises when you are drawing in public. In order to draw in public, you need to have the fundamentals to do that if you want to get better. Now, if you're not interested, some people are not interested in quote unquote getting better, right? What do I mean by that? Some people just they're good with the way that they draw. Then you have other people who want to depict things a little bit more the way it looks in real life, maybe a little bit of stylization, but they want some sort of structure to it. The way you get that is to actually know the fundamentals. And these fundamentals I teach again in my high powered drawing course. Click the link in the description. So I'm sitting here in this barbershop, and while I'm waiting on my son to get his haircut, I decided to draw, the scene of the barbershop. And this was not the easiest thing because I'm sitting in the front of the barbershop. There's a window behind me, which is bringing in a lot of light, right? Now, on the camera, the person who was holding the camera, they held it in such a way that the light wasn't really glaring and you could actually see what I'm drawing. But as I'm looking at the paper, it was very bright. Also, it was a very uncomfortable space to sit in. The space that I was sitting in was very uncomfortable because it was a really small space. It wasn't really designed for sitting, but there were a couple other people waiting. I wasn't waiting to get my hair cut, so I didn't want to sit in those seats. So I just kind of squeezed myself in an area that wasn't really made for sitting. And this was very uncomfortable. Another thing that was uncomfortable is that where I was sitting, it was because it wasn't designed for sitting, I was sitting a little bit up high. So my sketchbook was facing downward. I had to kind of cross my legs and rest my sketchbook on my leg. But at the same time, that was uncomfortable as well. And it was just really an uncomfortable process. Also, I had to draw in the way that the camera would be able to see what I'm drawing. That was uncomfortable. I was able to pull all of these things off while still depicting these barbers cutting these guys' hair because I'm used to distractions, right? The more you're used to distractions, the less excuses you will give yourself to stop. Now, there's a couple things people do when they're uncomfortable drawing. One is that they may stop drawing altogether and then go back to their phone and start watching YouTube videos, or they may turn the page and start a whole new drawing. This is another pro tip. The biggest no-no you can do is turning the page and starting a new drawing. I recommend that every drawing you start, you finish. Why? Because when you train your mind that there is no opting out, there is no jumping the ship, and I have to finish this drawing, then your mind starts to figure out ways to make the drawing more pleasing if it wasn't going in the way that you liked it. Now, I'll tell you a quick story. I was going to Noman School of Visual Effects, and I met my mentor, John Mahoney. He gave us an assignment to draw a figure model who was posing. She had a costume on, she was posing, it was pretty cool and everything. But what happened is that I didn't like the drawing that I was doing. And as he was walking around looking at everyone's drawings, we're all looking at our papers and he's kind of walking behind us, walking around the class, looking at our drawings. He came over to me, looked over my shoulder and said, looks pretty cool. Let me see that other drawing you was doing. So what he meant is that I had stopped that other drawing that I didn't like, and I turned the page and I started a new drawing. So I explained to him, I'm like, well, yeah, as I'm turning back to show him the older drawing, I'm like, yeah, actually that drawing wasn't really working out very well. So I started a new one. See how this one looks a lot better than that one? And he said, yeah, I think you should finish that other one. And I was really pissed in that moment because I didn't like that other one. So I tried to explain to him again, yeah, this one, the proportions are off. The anatomy wasn't right. I just didn't like this. I didn't like that. And he said, yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. Yeah. But I think you should finish the other one, and it was just really frustrating. But I ended up finishing that drawing, and long story short, I actually liked the drawing by the time I finished it because he forced me to finish it, right? And so my mind said, well, this is painful doing this drawing that I don't like. So my mind figured out a way to finish the drawing in a way that it was pleasing to me. So I took that, and from that point on, I finished every drawing that I did. And this is another huge pro tip, is to finish every drawing that you do, because your mind will eventually train over to the point to where you figure out how to what's called save drawings. In the field of design, there's this term called saving a drawing or saving a painting, right? That means when it's going in the wrong direction. And even the best professionals in the industry of fine art, of commercial art, of concept art, whether they're, working on video games or they're in fashion design, it doesn't matter. Your favorite artists, they all have drawings that they don't like. And a lot of them have learned how to save a drawing when it's going in the wrong direction. So that is another tip, is learning how to save a drawing when it goes in the wrong direction. And you don't really have to learn that. All you have to really do is just finish every drawing that you start. If you do that, you will automatically learn how to save a drawing, because as humans, our minds don't like pain. And if we're doing something that does not work, Even if you do it like 20, 30 times, eventually your mind is going to say, okay, we got to try something that's going to make this work and not be so painful. That's just a natural occurrence. So don't worry about trying on that behalf. All you have to do is just finish every drawing. I'm telling you, this works. I've been teaching this stuff over a quarter of a century. I know for a fact that it works. This is one of the biggest pro tips that I could give you, is just finish every drawing that you start. And eventually you will get to the point to where every drawing you do, even if you don't necessarily love it, you will at least be entertained by it, right? And that is really the secret behind my whole style. I'm trying to entertain myself. When you're looking at these lines that I'm putting down, you notice that a lot of them are wiggly and kind of loose and kind of crazy. And when I put a line down, I leave it. A lot of the lines that I put down aren't really what I intended when I was putting my pen down to the page, but because I've learned to be entertained by whatever comes out on that paper without trying to correct it or fix it, that is where the magic happens, right? Being entertained. And you'll often find that the viewers who look at your art are actually entertained by things that you thought were failures. I used to show my sketchbook all the time and people would look at it. And for some reason, people will always say they like the drawings that I did not like. It was the weirdest thing. And over the years, I've learned that you never know what's going to be entertaining to the viewer. So don't always try to write off something that you did that you felt wasn't working. You know, oh, I drew this line and it didn't work, or I drew the face and it didn't work. Maybe you drew that person and it doesn't look exactly like them, but it does look like a real person, right? There's a lot of drawings that I've done in the past where it doesn't look exactly like the person I was drawing, but it does look like a real person. So those are the biggest tips that I could give you. And if you try those things, I can guarantee you your drawings will change really, really fast. Thank you for watching this video. If you felt that the tips that I gave in this video were helpful for you, hit the like and subscribe button. Also, I want you to jump right in and try these tips. Don't just take it from me. I've been teaching this over 25 years, quarter of a century. I've seen people come into my class only drawing happy faces and stick figures, and they get the results immediately. So go ahead, don't delay, just try it out. Also, in the link below, there is a link to my online course. You can get in for free right now. You can get in for free right now. You can get in for free right now. I'm going to say free. You can get in for free right now for a very short, limited time. You click, you give your email, you jump right into the course. No hoops to jump through. So I'll see you in the next one.